Warning: Dungeons & Dragons contains material that is not suitable for children, people with heart conditions, weak-minded individuals, or anyone easily offended. If you are included in that list, then please stop watching this video now, for your own safety. Everyone else, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
The following is excerpts from various interviews which will be listed below, and other information pertaining to them.
Thing is that TSR was lost due to internal politics in many ways. And to cut the story short, my father brought in an NPC to fight against the Blooms. And not only did she successfully fight against the Blooms, but she ended up purchasing all of their power and making it her own. So he brought in his own nemesis, which is a horrible situation, but he has to, eat that, right. Or did. And she, for some reason, despised gamers. He thought that it was just like more widgets and whatever, and that there would be some way to turn this to something more profitable, whatever. We don't need this goose that's shitting these golden eggs. We're instead. I think we're going to have a goose dinner or goose liver pate.
Oh my!
So what I'm saying is that I think that Lake Geneva, in particular, and a lot of gaming, got strip mined. Not by the gentleman at WotC who did all the taking it from Lorraine, because all he did mostly was assume her debt obligation. I believe it was $25 million that she owed all the printers and things. But some of the ways of like overprinting on products with a high royalty rate, with guaranteed royalties whether they sell or not. So they looted the dungeon. They actually took away the employees in a nice, mild, servile manner, giving them work out in the West Coast, a beautiful place. But then, as for most of them, though not all, I think Mary Kurtoff has been on and off there, and some others, and maybe Steve Winter. But otherwise, people peeled away, Skip Williams, Penny Williams, many others. And they just took, as all corporate raiders do, the treasures, right, and then tried to make them their own. So WotC itself was a much better answer than Lorraine. And my good friend, poor Jim Ward, was kind of a highly paid mercenary for a while there, trying to keep things going.
We, Wizards, recognize that some of the legacy content available on this website does not reflect the values of the Dungeons & Dragons franchise today. Some older content may reflect ethnic, racial, and gender prejudice that were commonplace in American society at that time. These depictions were wrong then, and are wrong today. This content is presented as it was originally created, because to do otherwise would be the same as claiming these prejudices never existed. Dungeons & Dragons teaches that diversity is a strength, and we strive to make RD&D products as welcoming and inclusive as possible. This part of our work will never end.
But I just want to say that TSR has been gone. There's a ton of artists and game designers and people that played those there. And recently they were dissed for being old-fashioned, possibly anti-modern trends, and enforcing or even having the concepts of gender identity. So I don't know. Anyway, all I'm trying to do is fill in the strip mine, allow this old fertile soil to produce more games and products again. We're not going to be able to get back the diamond that was Dungeons & Dragons. Yeah. We'll be able to make things that might have chips of diamond material or whatever, but we're never going to see that great D&D diamond again, I don't think. But someday, something will be around. Hopefully, it'll be made by TSR. But if not, I still hope to be alive and see the next great incarnation of gaming. Because, like everybody played Monopoly before Dungeons & Dragons. I would say that with Dungeons and Dragons might have been like a stepping stone up from there, and who knows what the next thing will be.
Well, let me just give you a Wizards of the Coast umbrella opinion. They're doing nasty things to AD&D, okay? For one thing, orcs should never be good or neutral, ever. When Gary Gygax set up role-playing in D&D, he did something very subtle that he never told anybody about. He wanted specifically good to triumph over evil. And that's what he wanted in his game all the time. So it was okay if you did evil characters. Gary never stopped you from doing that, but you had to pay the price. You know, you were wanted, people hated you, that kind of thing. So Gary always wanted good to triumph over evil. Well, with doing this kind of stuff that Wizards is doing right now, they are stripping away some of the concepts that Gary specifically wanted in his game. And here's the only bad part about that. 5e does definitely explain the game better than all the other versions. Definitely, no doubt about it in my mind. But they're doing things so that the youth of the nation that are coming up into the game, so the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds that are just learning AD&D are learning their 5e version. Okay? So they're not learning the spirit of the game that Gary wanted. Orcs, they could be good. Oh my goodness. Gary's turning over in his grave from that. You know, pretty soon the Tyrannosaurus Rexes won't eat meat. You know? It's turning into something not as exciting and not as adventuresome. So not having alignment is fun. Alignment, I am a big proponent of role-playing elements. I put them in my game all the time because they help tell stories. So if you're a good alignment or a neutral alignment or a chaotic alignment, that is a fun role-playing element in the story that people react to, townspeople react to. For me, I'm chaotic good. That's what I've always been. And so I'm a little bit crazy, but you know, I'm an honest crazy. They don't have that anymore in the game because they've done away with alignment. I think it's criminal. And they keep doing away with important, what I consider important basic elements. That's one of the reasons why I started developing other role-playing games that had those elements back in them, because I don't want, and again, the youth of the nation, the 7, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, they don't realize that Gary Gygax started this game because Wizards doesn't play that up at all. But people like Luke Gygax and Ernie Gygax, people like me, we want to press the Gygax button and tell people, you know, this is Gary's game, this is how he did it, and this is what he was hoping to do. So that was a long answer. I'm sorry, but yeah, 5e doesn't make me happy at all.
What are my thoughts on Hasbro, TSR, and the rest? Well, it seems that Hasbro, even after losing millions thanks to identity politics forced into Disney's Star Wars that not only crippled their toy sales, but destroyed Toys R Us in the process, are merely sitting back and doing nothing, letting identity politics, critical race theory, and other nonsense be injected into all of our escapism entertainment. Hasbro itself released Miss Monopoly, where women made more than men, and could invest in new technologies such as hair dryers and dishwashers. It really seems as though they are trying to play both sides of politics against each other. What did TSR do wrong? They existed in a world of a hive mind that does not allow individual thought or ideas, and you must conform to regressive segregation, and the one true way to play all games in live life. Gary, Ernie, Jim, Tim, Bruce, Frank, Zeb, and many more designers, and all players were guilty of the most blasphemous thing in the world today, being white, and being males. How dare they want to make a game that interests them, and isn't made for the unwashed Twitter masses? How dare they not sit back, be insulted and say thank you sir, may I have another? The sheer number of lynch mobs attacking people for just being different, while seeking and promoting diversity, mind you, from Twitter, and YouTubers like Eric Tanker, Aaron the Pedantic, Indestructo Boy, Mark Sherlock Humes, and many more, are doing the exact thing that was claimed in the disclaimer put on those legacy Dungeons and Dragons products. Spreading hate. Why can't people just play their game at their table and enjoy it, and leave everyone else in the world the hell alone to play their games at their tables? Why does Hasbro allow this behavior from Wizards of the Coast, when it was the same behavior at Disney that caused Hasbro to lose so much money? Why do people continue to support Hasbro, that can't compete with the European games that proliferate on Kickstarter? Twitter and YouTube are controlled by psychotic lynch mobs, so the only way to have a voice is for people to speak with their wallets. Stop buying products from companies that treat you like dirt. Don't buy them on Amazon, who owns Twitch and promotes this same hate mob mentality. Don't buy them at Walmart, Target, or any other big box chain store. Don't buy them from your local game store. If you stop buying the garbage they are shoveling right now, then they will have to stop selling it or lose revenue, and not many businesses right now can afford the loss of revenue. So let's all finally do what the old saying says and put our money where our mouths are.